Masters Vessel Classical Academy, Primary Section. On the roll.
Hello pupils, I am still your anchor, your teacher, Mrs. Ajike Chidinma, your mathematics teacher. I'll be taking primary 5 and 6 in mathematics on a topic, areas of plane shapes. What did I say? Areas of plane shapes. It is expected that by the end of this lesson, 1, you should be able to define the term area. 2, you should be able to identify and solve problems on areas of plane shapes. Identification, I mean, you should be able to identify a plane shape called square, rectangles, triangles, and so on. Is that clear? Those are the objectives of this lesson. Now, when we talk about areas of plane shape, even before we go there, do you know what plane shapes are? You should know that. Now, plane shapes are shapes like square, rectangles, triangle, pentagon. These shapes, we call them the 2Ds. They are called two-dimensional shapes. That is what 2D means. Two what? Dimensional shapes. These shapes, they don't have depth. Do you understand? They don't have what? Depth. They only have what? Length and width. Is that clear? It is not usually deep. That is what we mean. Like tins of milk. You know when you open the top, it is what? Deep. Like your GP tank is deep. Those are not the kind of shape we're talking about. We're talking about plane shape, flat shapes. We call them flat shape. Another word for plane shape is what? Flat shapes. Is that clear? Now you can see that a rectangle is flat. And squares are what? Flat. Is that correct? Okay. Now, area. Let's define area. The area of a given plane shape or figure is the amount of space that figure covers. What did I say? The area of a given plane shape is the amount of space the shape or figure covers. Is that clear? For example, take a look at this book. When you say the area, if I place it on this board, you can see that it did not cover the whole board. It has just taken what? Somewhat space. Is that correct? So that is what we call what? Area. And when you take a look at this blackboard, it has what? Space. It's covered on the wall. If you also take a look at your door is not everywhere in your house. It just has its own what? Space. It covers. So that amount of space your door or your window covers is what we call what? The area of the what? The door or the window. Is that clear? Now we'll be talking about a shape called square. First of all, let us define area. Now, if you take a look at the board, the shape I have drawn is called a square. It's called what? A square. We'll be talking about the shape called square. Now, square is a kind of shape or flat shape that has 4 equal lines. This word equal must not be missing in your definition of a square. It has what? 4 equal lines. What did I say? 4 equal lines. Is that clear? It shows that all the lines are what? Equal. A square has only what we call length. It has what? Length. That means a square has 4 lengths. Is that clear? It shows that from here to here is what? One of the lengths, and here to here is another length. This is another length from here to here, and this one from here to here is another length. So we call the sides of a square length. We call it what? Length. Now, if we are looking for the area of a square, because square has only length, the area of a square is length times length. You multiply 2 of the length, is that clear? To get the area it covers. Now, why do we do that? Example, if one of the lengths is what? 6, assuming here is 6, I give you 6 centimeters. Because I've already told you that all of them are what? Equal. All you need to do is add this 6, add this one, add this one, and this one, and that will give you what? The area of the what? Square. Now, because we want to avoid so many additions, you know, multiplication came as a result of what? Series of addition. We want to reduce it. That is why we can only multiply this side by this side. And it will still give us the area of what? The square. The same answer as if we have added it. Is that clear? Now, we said square has what? Length. Let's take example. We said to find the area of a square, it is what? Length times length. And this length times length, we can also equate it to be L representing length squared raised to power 2. Is that clear? So you can write that the area of a square is equal to what? L square. Is that clear? Okay. Let's take example. Find the area of a square whose length is what? 7 centimeters. We are to find the area of what? A square whose length is what? 7 centimeters. You might be asking me, I thought I said it is a square has a 4 lengths. Why is it only one side of the length that is given? Now, this goes ahead to tell you that all the sides of the square has what? 7, 7, 7 each. Is that clear? So all we need to do is to follow the formula. Already we have stated that the area of a square is what? Equals to length times length. Or we say what? L square. Remember that area of a square is what? L square. Now we are given that the area, the length is equals to what? 7 centimeters. Following the formula, this means that 7 squared. This means 7 times 7. 7 times 7. And when you multiply 7 by 7, it gives you 49 centimeters squared. Now, have you seen these two here? Whenever you're looking for the area of any plane shape or any shape, the area of a shape, okay, whether a plane shape or a three-dimensional shape, the area must end in either in centimeters squared or meters squared. Is that clear? Whenever you're looking for area. So 7 times 7 gives us 49. Let's take another example. Here, we're given the length to find the area. In another situation, we might be given the area to find the length. Let's see this question. The area of a square is 36 meters squared. Find the length. The area is given as what? To be 36 centimeters, sorry. We are to find the length. How do we find the length? Is to follow the formula given to us that the area of a square is what? Length, length times length, or length squared, L squared. L squared. We can rearrange this. The length is equal to L squared is equal to the area of what? A square. Now we are given that L squared is equal to what? The area, which is what? 36 meters squared. Is that clear? Now, we are looking for one of the lengths. We're asked to find the length, not length squared. That means we are going to remove this square here. We'll remove it from length and bring it to what? The other side. Because this squared means 2 of this length. We are only looking for one of the length. Is that clear? How do we do that? L becomes the square root of 36. 36 is now inside the house called square root. Is that clear? Now this means you should find a number that can multiply itself 2 times to give you what? 36. And that number is what? 6. Therefore, L is equal to what? 6 meters. It shows that L is equal to what? 6 meters. Is that clear? Now, let's go to another plane shape called rectangle. Now, remember that when we were defining a square, I told you that a square has what? 4 equal sides. Now, rectangle looks like a square, but it is not a square. The difference here is that rectangle has 2 opposite sides that are equal and what? Parallel to each other. When we say parallel, we are talking about 2 lines that moves towards the same direction but can never meet. Is that clear? 2 lines that moves towards the same direction but cannot do what? Meet. Just like the road that leads to ShopRite. Have you been there before? Yes. When you're traveling on that road, you see that one vehicle is coming from this side and another one is also going to ShopRite. Is that correct? So those are 2 what? Parallel lines. They are not supposed to join, meet at any junction. Is that clear? It continues going. So that is what we call what? Parallel lines. Now if you take a look at this book has the shape of a rectangle. Also take a look at your door. The door in your house has the shape of what? A rectangle. Is that clear? Now, we have here is called the length in rectangle. And here is the breadth, or we call it width. So when you hear me say breadth or width, I'm talking about the same thing. Is that clear? How wide the shape is. Now, these are the two opposite sides. When you say opposite, it means something facing each other. This side is facing this side. And this side is facing this side. Is that clear? So these are the two what? Opposite lines. And we also call them parallel lines. You can see that these ones are what? Two vertical lines moving up, from up to down. Those are what we call vertical lines. Is that clear? And these are, the lengths are what? Two horizontal lines. Okay, that runs from east to west. Is that clear? Now, let's take the definition. Now, this is a rectangle. This shape on the board is the shape called what? Rectangle. For example, okay, to find the area of this shape, if you want to find the area of a rectangle, it is to multiply the length by the width or breadth. To multiply what? The length by the width. Is that clear? That is L times either B or W. That is how to find the area of a rectangle. For instance, this should be the example 3. Remember, we've taken 2 examples already under square. Find the area of a rectangle whose length is 8 centimeters and the width is 5 centimeters. I already told us that to find the area of a rectangle, it is length times breadth. Length times what? Breadth. which is the same thing as L times B. Is that clear? Now we're given that the length is what? 8 centimeters. And the width is what? 5 centimeters. This means that 8 centimeters, we should multiply 8 centimeters by what? 5 centimeters. And this gives us what? 40 centimeters. 8 times 5 gives us what? 40. Don't forget to put your word squared. We can read this as 40 squared meters. Or we write it like this. 40 centimeters squared. Or we read it as 40 squared centimeters. Sorry. Is that clear? We read it as 40 squared centimeters. Is that clear? This squared is this. And this centimeter, this cm is the centimeters. Is that clear? Now, in this first question, we were looking for the area. The area was not given. But the length and the width were what? Given. In the next question, the area will be given and one of the sides of the rectangle, either the length or the breadth. And then we are to find the other side. The area of a rectangle is 72 meters squared. If the length is 12 meters, what is the width? The area has been given, and one of the side, which is the length, has been also what? Given. Now we are told to find the what? The width. Remember that the area of a rectangle is still length times what? Breadth. Now the area has been given and one of the sides given. We are to find the what? The breadth or the width. Is that clear? This means we have 72 meters squared and one of the length is given to be what? 12 meters times the width, which is what? The same thing as what? Breadth. Is that clear? We don't have the breadth. That is what we are looking for. Now we have a 72 meters squared is equal to 12 times B gives us what? 12B. B there is representing the width that we are looking for. Now when we have this kind of expression, this is an algebraic what? Expression, a situation where a letter is representing a number. It means that when we multiply the letter, that number that is supposed to be here by 12, we will have what? 72. Okay, what we do here is to divide both sides. And when we talk about both sides, you can see that we have an equality sign here, right? This equality sign shows that what is on this side is supposed to be equal to what we have here. Is that clear? So, whatever you do to this side, you will also do it to this other side. Now, we are going to divide the coefficient. When we say the coefficient of B, we are talking about the number attached before any letter. Is that clear? That is the coefficient of the number. So, we'll divide both sides by what? The coefficient of what? B. Divide both sides by what? 12. That means 72 divided by 12 is equal to 12b all over 12. Now, this 12 can cancel itself once. Is that correct? It can also cancel this one once. That means we are now left with what? B. Let's start with 2. 2 can cancel 12 how many times? 6. 2 can cancel 7 how many times? 3. Remainder 1 in 12. 6. Is that correct? Yes. 6 can cancel itself 1. It cancels 36 how many times? 6 times. So we're left with what? 6. It therefore means that B is equal to what? 6. We can write it as, this is 6 meters. We can write it as this. 6 is equal to B. Or we change it to what? B is equals to 6 meters. That is the value of B. That is the what? The width of the what? The rectangle. We have found that the width is what? 6 centimeters. I hope you are following. Just look at the examples carefully. You will understand it. Now I am going to give you an assignment that will keep you busy at home. The first question is, find the area of a square whose length is 11 centimeters. Number 2, the area of a square is 225 meters squared. What is the length? You have to find the length. And number 3, Find the area of a rectangle whose length is 13 centimeters and the width is 7 centimeters. And the last question is, a rectangle has an area of 108 meters squared. If the breadth is 9 meters, find the length. Remember that we have talked about areas of what? Plane shapes. Today we talked about square and rectangle. We said a square has what? 4 equal lines, and it only has what? Length. And we said that a rectangle has 2 opposite sides which are parallel and equal to each other. Is that clear? And we mentioned that a rectangle has length. It has a length and what? A breadth, or we call it width. Now we said the formula to find the area of a rectangle is to multiply the length by what? The width. Is that clear? Now, this is where we'll stop for today. Stay safe. Bye.